to the basic of hyperinflation. We want masters of commerce, lies, and bad legislation. Whoa, if you look in the eyes of 1,000 young children through fences of razors, their innocent torment as the red flag of tyranny flies in the open. Is that when you finally notice? Whoa, I'm only a stranger here. I'm a long way from my home. And they say I can't change all the things I find strange. But what can one man do alone? They say, what can one man do alone? Only a stranger looking to find better nature in my fellow man. But they keep telling me it's a sin to live, and that's more than I'm willing to say. What would it be when the order is given? 2 cents of your mind, as free speech is forbidden, as martyrs for peace from the world sent to prison, shut by the sound of a bellowing thunder, and choke on the blood of a dream going under. As arrogant and tear up our Constitution, and from every direction we cry revolution, standing together and without permission, soldiers for truth and war of attrition, the love of our children as our ammunition. I'm only a stranger here, and I'm a long, long way from my home. But I'm going to change all the things I find strange, for I am not one man alone. Yes, I'm only a stranger, I'm a long, long way from my home. And I'm going to change all the things I find strange, for I know that I'm not alone. 'Cause I know I'm not alone. Not alone. You are not alone, we're with you. God bless you all.
Peace, everybody. Thank you very much for having us. Jordan Page, Tatiana Rose. Can't wait to the next speaker. Thank you so much, you guys. Beautiful anthem of liberty and peace, which is something that we all really need. Our next speaker is the editor of the Libertarian Institute, the editorial editor, director of antiwar.com, and author of Enough Already. Let's welcome to the stage Scott Horton. Thank you so much, Scott.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for coming out today. The Russia-Ukraine war is a catastrophe. There's a very real risk that the war could grow out of control into a major power conflict between NATO and Russia. A war which could kill billions of people. We demand a ceasefire and negotiations now. Yes, this war was provoked. That's the title of the book I'm working on now. It's 540 pages so far, and that's the abridged version. Here's the even shorter version. Bush Sr. made a promise at the end of the Cold War not to extend the NATO military alliance east into the former Warsaw Pact states. But he was lying. It was a promise that was made to be broken. When Bill Clinton came in, he inflicted a policy called shock therapy on the Russian economy, which absolutely destroyed it and led to the deaths of millions, literally millions of excess deaths in the 1990s. He also rigged the election of 1996 to prevent the people of Russia from throwing out Boris Yeltsin, who had helped the Americans to inflict this policy on them. He also backed bin Laden's Mujahideen in Bosnia, Kosovo, and Chechnya. And he expanded NATO in 1999, bringing in Hungary, Poland, and the Czech Republic. The great Ron Paul, congressman from Texas, at the time warned that this would not strengthen NATO, but weaken it by provoking right-wing nationalist ethnic backlash against the new order in Europe. W. Bush sponsored color-coded revolutions in Georgia, Ukraine, and Kyrgyzstan.
Thank you.
He brought 9 more nations into NATO, and in 2008 at Bucharest promised to bring Ukraine and Georgia into America's military alliance as well. He also tore up the anti-ballistic missile treaty and installed Mark 41 missile launchers in Romania and Poland, which are dual-use launchers that can hold Tomahawk cruise missiles, which can be tipped with hydrogen bombs, violating the spirit of the INF Treaty. Barack Obama did a lot of things, but the worst thing that he did was he overthrew the government of Ukraine for the second time in 10 years in 2014 in the phony Maidan Revolution, which was really a coup accomplished by no-fooling, Hitler-loving Nazis on the ground. Now, Donald Trump came in and was falsely accused of being a pro-Russian traitor, so what did he do? He poured hundreds of millions of dollars worth of arms into Ukraine to prove that it wasn't so. He sent more trainers and added more sanctions on Russia. And whether he was in on it or not, his government tried to overthrow the government of Belarus in 2020. He also increased naval exercises in the Black and Baltic and Okhotsk Seas and Air Force exercises over Europe. He also, on his way out, Donald Trump tore up Ronald Reagan's great achievement, the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty of 1987, and George Bush Sr.'s great achievement, the Open Skies Treaty of 1992. Joe Biden has been bad on every bit of this the whole time. As a United States Senator, as Vice President, where he oversaw the 2014 coup, and as President of the United States, where he spent his Social Security. Now, the Biden administration told the media without provoking them into doing so.
He has swelled the text out. Thank God. Oh, Ward, don't be a bad Ward. Be a good Ward. War is very tiny. Except if no, yeah, see, at him. He's gentle. No way, man. Gentle war. War is, yeah, we can see them here. What's your, I guess, like, what it like influence of
not only that, interfere with the last year, which could have brought an end to the war. Still, this war was not inevitable. Vladimir Putin and his men obviously have their share in responsibility. However, the UN
can't be on the scene.
it must be made to seek compromise.
Yeah, you good?
Have both said that it's time for Ukraine to put this war while they're behind before they get too much further behind. Officials told the Washington Post 2 months ago that they understand Ukraine cannot win this war. They just want to prolong it a little bit longer before the peace talks. Well, that's just not good enough. They cannot win. They should be talking to end the war now. Now, some of you might be familiar with a study from 2019 put out by the RAND Corporation. It was called Extending Russia. Overextending Russia. It was all about how to provoke Russia into expensive new commitments in Syria, in Central Asia, and including in Ukraine. But the point I want to bring up to you from that RAND study that was pleasantly surprising to me was how often they bring up the importance of public opinion in that study. Well, we would like to do X, but the people of Germany are against it. We'd like to do Y, but the people of France won't stand for it. We think we'd like to push this far, but public opinion polls in America say that the people will not tolerate it. And you might not have thought that they cared about what we thought at all. They do. They know that we have the power to make them stop. So it is up to us, the American people. Our government is risking a nuclear war over a country they're not even willing, so far, to deploy ground troops to. It's madness. We, the people, demand talks. Negotiate now. End this war. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Next up, we have someone who embodies the courage that everyone in the government, everyone in the military-industrial complex needs to show. And that is Ian Wright, because in 2003, in the lead-up to the Iraq War, Anne resigned from the State Department. She resigned rather than go along with the Iraq War. That's the kind of courage we need. The kind of courage that Snowden showed, that so many others have shown, that have stepped down. And it's a pleasure to have you with us.
I had a very tell the truth. I'm on the
resigning these rules.
Yeah, our new service, complimentary. Oh, no.
War that starts over the whole world. We've used nuclear weapons, it's already been talked about. When the elephants are stomping around, it's the little people that get hurt. And it's all us little people all over the world get hurt unless we can get this thing stopped. So, Chris, we're here to say that there need to be negotiations. I mean, there needs to be talk, there needs to be dialogue. It sounds kind of simple. It's kind of like school, isn't it? You know, when the bullies start castrating people, you have to sit them down and let's toss this thing out. So anyway.
Where did Iraq. I know, right?
So please join us there, and at the end of this, I will just say, no more war! No more war! Thank you very much.
All right. Next up, we've got someone who I'm sure most of you know, and that is host of the Combo Couch, Pasta Targula. Pasta, it's yours. Take it away.
Well, let's give it up for Big Ron and Angela. Put this on. Let's open the club. Free Julius Assange. Say it again. Free Julius Assange.
Free Julian Assange!
All right, before we get started, everybody take their phone out really quickly and mark yourself safe from a Chinese spy photo. Can you do that real quick? And there. So, who knows about General Smedley Butler out here? I can't believe you mentioned him today. War is Iraqi. He gave a speech almost 90 years ago, and General Smedley Butler was a senior Marine Corps officer who fought both the Mexican Revolutionary War and World War I. At the time of his death, Butler was the most decorated Marine in U.S. history. During his 34-year career, he participated in military actions in the Philippines, China, Central America, the Caribbean, and France. But later in his years, Butler became an outspoken critic of the wars and their consequences. In 1935, he gave this beautiful speech called War is Iraqi. It's going to be the first paragraph that says, War is Iraqi. It has always been. It is possibly the oldest and easiest, most profitable, surely the most vicious. It is the only one international in scope. It is the only one which profits are reckoned in dollars and losses in lives. Iraq can be best described as something that is not what it seems to the majority of people. It is only a small inside group that knows what it's about. It is conducted for the benefit of the very few at the expense of the many. Out of war, few people make huge fortunes. And the crazy thing is, it's the same today as it was back then. War is still Iraqi. After the war was Iraqi, in Vietnam, when the government lied to us about the Gulf of Tonkin, false flags, inciting the fear to justify war. Don't be fooled, they're still doing it today. But companies like Dow Chemical made millions producing dangerous gases used to suffocate and kill the women and children of Vietnam destroy their agriculture and their civilization. Has anybody ever heard of napalm? Dow Chemical. And did I mention that all wars are bankers' wars? Let me hear you say it. All wars are bankers' wars.
All wars are bankers' wars.
And war is still Iraqi. As there was in Nicaragua when the CIA conducted a civil war by selling crack cocaine in the United States that killed black people at home and brown people in Latin America. The prison industrial complex exploded. It's increased almost 700% since the 1970s with mandatory minimums. Tell me, is war still Iraqi? And did I also mention that all wars are bankers' wars? There, you damn straight over there. And war is still Iraqi, the same way it was in Iraq. When people refused to deal with the fact that Saddam did not have chemicals or weapons. Okay? One man tried to stop the war, but it didn't happen. So I say all wars are still bankers' wars. Are they not?
Yeah.
You're damn straight. Now the first thing we have to do is realize that we have no friends here in Washington. For we have a Congress that is more like professional wrestling. The Democrats. And no, let me say this much. They are not the lesser of two evils. These parties, they appear to be oppositions, but they're really not. And what are the Democrats? They are the let's send weapons to Ukraine Democrats, the let's invade Haiti Democrats, the let's sanction the hell out of Syria Democrats.
Hey, great speech, Scott.
The UK
Scott Horton, everybody.
Democrats. They're also the CIA and the FBI are now the good guy Democrats. Basically, they have the Trump derangement syndrome Democrats. In other words, they're just a synthetic left. And the Republicans, are they really any better? Really? I mean, let's not forget that this Ukraine war would have started if it wasn't for Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell going to Ukraine in 2016 and then talking to Nazis to go invade the Donbass. Mitch McConnell was just seeing Zelensky last year in a delegation with the Republicans. Let's not forget, they're also the Afghan war and the Iraq war Republicans. Let's sanction the hell out of the Nicaraguans, Venezuela, and Cuba because they're socialist Republicans. Let's take out China because of the balloon Republicans. They are, in essence, we still remember who you are, Republicans. And yes, Matt Gaetz is now floating a bill out there to end the nuclear war, and that's great. You want to end war, so be it. I'm all for it. Frankly, I think we're a little bit too late, because almost 250,000 people are dead. But let me just say this to the Republicans out there right now. Don't think for 1 second, we're going to let you defund the war in Kiev against Moscow, and then take that money over to Taiwan and start another proxy war with Beijing. It's not going to happen. Did I mention that all wars are bankers' wars? Let me hear you say it.
All wars are bankers' wars.
So here's my speech. It's all messed up as the wind is blowing, but let me just finish up with this. Let's just ditch it. So this is the hard part, right? We understand what we're up against. We understand that we have no friends here in Washington. So what do? What do we do? This hasn't been the first time this has happened before. They had major protests against the Iraq War. They had major protests against Vietnam. But yet, we're back to where we started from. And I know it's kind of trite to say, hey, we got to come together, but we must. The ruling class is definitely separated us. They got us fighting against each other. So all we can do is get in there and get dirty and have some robust discourse. We got to cancel culture. We got to forget about our isms and talk. We can't play red team, blue team anymore, because if we do, we'll surely die. So let us
our message. Up next, we have investigative journalist Wyatt Reed. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What an incredible crowd. It's a beautiful thing to see so many people, so many different walks of life unite today to come out and say it's time for Washington to stop prolonging this war in Ukraine. And it's such an honor to speak alongside so many incredible anti-war figures. People like Dennis Kucinich, Ron Paul, people who've been, let's hear it for them. These are people who've been working to bring an end to end this war since before I was born. And today we're here to make sure our kids don't have to do the same thing tomorrow. Think about war. That in America sometimes it can seem so abstract to us, like it's never hit home here. But it can, and it does. You know, I grew up in Southwest Virginia, down the river from the Bradford Arsenal, where all the propellants used in American rockets and artillery shells were produced. Every month they burned the explosive waste and they dumped that sludge into the New River. So, when I grew up, we just got used to the fish in the river with tumors that were bigger than their heads. We got used to our dad's buddies dying in unexplained explosions. We got used to our friends getting thyroid cancer in their late 20s. And it wasn't until I saw this war in Ukraine up close, and I was on the receiving end of these American shells, that we are killing our own people at home to produce, that it came full circle for me. Thank you. When I was asked to speak today, I knew immediately what I wanted to talk about, and that's the time I spent reporting from the Donbass recently. Because for close to a month, I got a chance to see and experience for myself exactly what those people have been going through. And not just since last February, but for 9 whole years. Nearly 15,000 people in these autonomous regions were killed before Russia got directly involved in this war last February. Now, since then, hundreds more civilians have been killed there as the Zelensky regime stepped up bombing the Donetsk and Lugansk republics, intentionally targeting civilian areas and the residential buildings in what I can only describe as state terrorism. I don't say this lightly, but it's the only conclusion I can draw after seeing reality on the ground up close. I say that because within 2 hours of arriving in downtown Donetsk, I watched firsthand as my hotel was hit in an artillery strike 100 yards directly in front of me, with what I later found out was a NATO standard 155mm shell launched by Ukrainian militants. I say it because I was able to get access to frontline towns and interview those who survived the occupation of their towns by the hyper-violent nationalists, groups with names like Azov, Adar, Right Sector, groups that were universally acknowledged as Nazis until last year. That's right. Nobody I spoke with who survived their reign of terror described them as liberators. Instead, they used words like fascists, killers, brutes. I say state terror because of Natalia, the 68-year-old babushka I met, who was left crippled when the Ukrainian military bombed her apartment with a U.S.-built HIMARS rocket. With no cell service, she told me she looks up at the faded photos of her children on the walls of her ruined apartment and tells them to look at what's become of her life. We asked her what she thought of Americans, knowing we supplied the Ukrainian militants with those bombs. She said, they must be beasts. They must not be human. They must have no heart. And I wished so badly that I could tell her otherwise, but how could I? Well, I'm looking out at this crowd today, and now I think I can. Finally, Americans are uniting to say enough is enough. If you think lives like Natalia's matter too, if you think it's time to put an end to Ukrainian boys and men getting slaughtered after being conscripted at gunpoint, if you think it's time to stop sacrificing hundreds of thousands of lives to try to overthrow the Russian government and send a message to China that it's time to stop the endless escalations towards all-out nuclear war, then it's time to stand up. Time to stand with the people of the Donbass. Stand with the other Ukrainians too. The Russian speakers in the East who are banned from mainstream media airways, who've been systematically silenced and erased since the U.S.-backed coup in 2014. So spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your member of Congress, stop pouring gas on the fire. Stop sabotaging the peace deals. Not a single penny more for these war criminals. And the peace to the people of Donbass. It's not negotiations, not nuclear weapons. Thank you. All right. So just so everybody knows, of course, and I think everybody does, after this, we're not just going to deliver the anti-war message here. We're going to march to the White House. But first, we have a long-time staple of the anti-war movement, long-time anti-war activist, and that is David Swanson. He is the co-founder and executive director of World Beyond War. David Swanson.
Thank you, Nick. I want to say thank you to everybody here today, and especially to those of you who have been here to oppose every war, or who are now committed to opposing every war. This Lincoln Memorial glorifies a war of long ago. And it really doesn't matter what our various opinions are on the wisdom of the U.S. having used war, unlike much of the rest of the world, as a tool against slavery. As long as today, state after state is removing the exception that allows slavery as punishment for a crime, simply by passing legislation without first picking out some big fields and slaughtering lots of people. I haven't read a single proposal to end mass incarceration that says the first step should be mass murder and leveling cities, and the second step, banning mass incarceration. Today we know enough to jokes.
And our job in the grassroots is to understand the stakes of the war and communicate to the people the stakes of the war and the cost of the war. And I mean all the U.S. people, regardless of what they believe in on other issues. We are all affected by this, not just in terms of the taxpayer dollar cost. I mean, we should be communicating to people that the price of gas at the pump, the price of the food they're buying right now, is all tied to this war. You think sanctioning Russia's oil means that Russia's not going to make money off their oil? No, it just means we're sanctioning ourselves, not able to buy that oil, and then suddenly the price of oil goes up. I wonder why that is. So, it's about communicating the stakes and the real cost to people who might see the war itself as abstract. But it is also, I think, about being serious about what we're actually living through right now. I hear a lot of people talk about the lead up to World War III, and that's what we're experiencing right now. Hello. I would actually argue that we're already living through World War III. Because the world war that we are going to experience, that we are experiencing in our generation, is of the same nature as the world wars past. It's not trenches. The nature of the war is different. The battle is different. It's a hybrid war. They have economic sanctions that they levy as part of this war. They wage a media war through your mind now, not just on the television, but through social media as well. And there's a proxy war. There's a covert aspect, which is what we're seeing play out in Ukraine. Don't think for a minute that it's a war between Ukraine and Russia. It's a war between the United States and Russia. And our leaders openly say it. You've heard them all. The biggest cheerleaders of sending more war to the front line in Ukraine always make this really odd point. They say, no, it actually is a good investment because we can give them the money and they'll fight the war and we don't have to. Haven't you heard that? You've heard them say it over and over again. I've heard Hillary Clinton say it. I hear Lindsey Graham make it. And the people who say that, they are so demented because they are openly stating that their whole vision for the war is dependent on their ability to send every last Ukrainian father, son, brother, friend onto the front line. They are happy to fight to the death of the last Ukrainian. The United States is. And so standing here and organizing something like this is actually the real way to stand up for Ukrainian lives because the war, they're the ones suffering the most. And so that's why it is up to us to be serious about communicating the stakes and the cost. And just to point out one more time that the same system that is responsible for the train derailment in Ohio where a corporation and the government basically now have nuked an entire U.S. city is the same system that blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, creating the greatest environmental catastrophe of my lifetime. It's a corporate, oligarchical system. It's a militarist system. It's evil and it's rotten to the core. And when we are clear about those objectives and about the stake, it's not so hard to weigh our differences and to come together and rage against the war machine. So thank you all for doing it. Thank you for letting me speak. Thank you to Nick and Angela once again. And no more war!
Thank you, Anya. Okay, now we have a little teaser for you. Up next, we have Daniel McAdams, co-host of the Ron Paul Liberty Report and director of the Ron Paul Institute. Thank you so much for being here with us.
They lie. Say it with me. They lie. 20 years ago this month, Colin Powell went to the United Nations to deliver an act of lies that got us into one of the worst wars in history. A million people died because of the lies told by Colin Powell. White House, Capitol, State Department, Pentagon, CIA. This is the axis of the war of lies. Saddam ripped babies from incubators. Gaddafi hand-napped Viagra. Assad gassed his own people. Putin losing badly, but about to march into Berlin. All wars are lies. You're anti-war? That's nice. That's great. But everyone's anti-war. Victoria Nuland is anti-war. Lindsey Graham is anti-war. The ghost of John McCain is anti-war. I once met a missile maker. He was anti-war because his missiles were accurate and they reduced collateral damage. It's not enough to be anti-war, as nice as that is. You must be anti-war propaganda, because war propaganda greases the wheels of the war machine. We must fight the lies leading to war. We must refuse to take part in the war preparation for battlefield. We must follow a rule I call the Rockwell Rule, named after the great libertarian anti-war writer Lew Rockwell. Refuse to demonize any leader or any foreign government the CIA wants to be demonized. Refuse to do their work for them. They don't care that you don't support war. They want to get you to say it. So-and-so is a monster. Say it. Because when you say it, you help the war machine move a little bit closer. And then they'll say, see, even the progressives think that so-and-so is a monster. Even the libertarians say so-and-so is a monster. Yeah, they don't want to go to war. But see, they agree with us. Now, we're proactive. We want to do something about it. They're layabouts. They don't want to do anything about it. So, when you participate in the demonization that the CIA wants you to participate in, the warmongers want you to participate in, you help the war machine move along. The only antidote to their lies is truth. So pray for peace and speak the truth.
All right. Next up, we have 3 former members of Congress who came to join us today. I think you know their names. Dennis Kucinich, Tulsi Gabbard, Ron Paul. We're going to start with Dennis Kucinich, former member of Congress from Ohio. Take it away, Dennis.
Thank you, Nick. It's a pleasure to join Ron Paul and Tulsi Gabbard and all the other speakers and all of you at this important event. Brothers and sisters, we gather here this afternoon before this national shrine dedicated to the apostle of healing with the recognition that we are...
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get closer to see Ron Paul.
No less fraught than that which was faced by Abraham Lincoln, but with the knowledge that our nation has survived times of division by invoking the power of spirit, the light of truth, and in the words of the prophet Isaiah, through making justice the measuring line. We are here today in painful recognition that our government does not have the capacity to heal the divisions in this nation or the willingness to use the basic science of human relations, sincere diplomacy, to avoid violent conflict, and is, in fact, unwilling to end conflict peacefully. Its greatest talent is to craft misinformation and disinformation, to subvert the media, and misuse it as an instrument to incite fear and hatred among our people, exciting partisan divisions at home through crass politics, and stirring ancient hatreds abroad through lies, deceit, cross-play operations, and provocations which profane the very essence of the darkness. In blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, this government has deliberately circumvented Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution, the authority of Congress to make war. It has violated international criminal law by conspiring to commit acts of sabotage and violence on the high seas. It has used illegal and unconstitutional means to destroy the energy resources needed to protect millions of people in Europe during the winter, and is to profit from its illegal actions by selling energy to Europe at a 4 to 6 times markup. It has done so. It has done so blatantly, cynically, simultaneously taking credit for the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline and then denying any role in it. I speak directly for those responsible, thanks to a courageous journalist, Seymour Hersh, thanks to a courageous journalist, Seymour Hersh. We know what you did at the Nord Stream pipeline,
Sorry.
Mr.
Trying to not
President,
block it.
Mr. Secretary of State, Mr. National Security Advisor, and Matt.
No, he was watching, but I need to try and stabilize my shot.
Until you are held accountable by Congress, by the International Criminal Court, and by the American people at the next election. For your reprehensible conduct, which has debased the Constitution, undermined the rule of law, in our name, committed an act of war to threaten the peace of the world and the stability of our own nation. No amount of balloon militarism will distract us from your profoundly lawless, reckless conduct. Even intelligence professionals are aghast at your White House's incompetence and have lost trust in your ability to defend America. Oh, yes, you want to hold Russia to account. That will ultimately be up to the Russian people. But it is up to we, the American people, to hold you to account. To affirm that we are a nation of laws, not of men or women, to hold those in high office to the highest of standards of national and international law. If we fail to do this, we have only ourselves to blame. While our government descends into depravity and tries to frog march us directly into nuclear war. Under the pretense of the pursuit of national security, our government's aggressive nature has alienated nations of the world and caused them to withdraw from commerce. With long-term implications for the value of our dollar and our financial security. Our government has ceded our sovereignty in matters of commerce to the World Trade Organization, to the detriment of American industry and American workers. It has ceded our national sovereignty in matters of peace to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which prefers military escalation of peace and is content, together with this administration, to use the good, courageous people of Ukraine as pawns in a vicious and deadly geopolitical chess game, which began well before the illegal Russian invasion. And it is now planning to do for the people of Taiwan what it has done for the people of Ukraine. Portraying China the aggressor while surrounding China with about 200 military bases. At home, our government has supported devastating gain-of-function research, which loosed the pandemic across our land. It has perverted social media to suppress legitimate debate over public policy, to the dictum of the health, welfare, and the will of America. And it has enabled the federal government law enforcement to be weaponized against political opponents, and has injected itself into social media organizations to impose political and ideological censorship in a manner characteristic of totalitarian rules, attacking the patriotism of those Americans who dare ask questions. Such a government is neither deserving of the trust of the American people nor worthy of our tacit consent to make decisions in our own interest. This passage from the Declaration of Independence is compelling. Quote, that when any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is a right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. We must change this government before it destroys our nation. We must change the way we are governed, insisting upon a government dedicated to peace. And that dedication must be to peace at home and abroad. Strength through peace ensures our defense and our readiness by not wasting our resources on ideological warfare. I speak not as a partisan, but as an American who believes we are being led to the brink of annihilation by individuals lacking in self-control, obsessed with the exercise of global power, and incapable of invoking the power of nonviolent persuasion. As a congressman, I warned America about going to war after 9/11. I led the effort against the Iraq War together with Ron Paul and saw the lies that took the lives of at least 4,491 American men and women, cost this nation more than $3 trillion, laid waste the country of Iraq, killing at least 1 million innocents, all because our leaders lied about Iraq and weapons of mass destruction and provoked great fear across the land. For fear is a weapon of mass destruction. Hatred is a weapon of mass destruction. Our nation used to lead the world in making steel, cars, and ships. Now, we lead the world in making enemies, confusing defense with offense, aiming ourselves to the teeth, spending trillions of dollars to advance an aggressive empire for the promotion of war. But the wars, my dear friends, have come home. While our nation spends $1 trillion every year to prepare for war, millions of Americans are ill-fed, ill-clothed, ill-educated, ill-housed, without hope for the future. We cannot do wars across the world and pretend that there are no consequences. The wars in Italy, the carnage down the streets of our cities, and millions of Americans are overwhelmed by anger, despair, hopelessness, and unrelenting mass violence. America's destiny and its founding was to be the light of the world, a free and independent nation among nations, not a nation of nations, not a military juggernaut running the world, trying to drag us to slave. We were to be and are to be the land of the free, the home of the free, not continually locked in fear by a government made fearful people who are afraid of balloons. But instead, they really need to be afraid of the American people as we come to a realization that our government has been turned into a wreck by corrupt and incompetent leaders. This stands a call for an American revival. A revival of courage, of authenticity, of a willingness to participate in the work of rebuilding our nation politically, economically, and spiritually. America longs for a return to government of the people, which focuses on taking care of things here at home. We as a nation can I have been homeless from every day, have a roof over their heads, while American communities do not have clean water. I know our nation has shown itself incapable of even responding to the urgent needs of those affected by the derailment disaster in East Palestine. This government's chilling lack of compassion and empathy is on full display, not only in East Palestine, Ohio, but across the globe.
We libertarians.
Which lack human sympathy portend greater and greater destruction. My fellow Americans, it is time to revive the spirit of America, so that each one of us truly believes in the humility of the nation and function for the benefit of all. It is time to make real the dream of prosperity for all. It is time to make real the dream of education for all, and health care for all, and jobs for all, retirement security, and safe neighborhoods. It is time to revive the spirit of patriotism, which reflects a daily celebration of freedom where Americans are free from government prying and spying into their personal lives, and where each of us is free to make decisions about our own lives, our own health, and our own being. It is time to revive the spirit of peace. The scriptures say, blessed are the peacemakers, It is time for America to establish a new role in the world, where we demand of our leaders the ability to reconcile with other nations, to make peace with our brothers and sisters. We must coalesce as a nation to seek and to find the underlying unity that binds us as Americans. Love of life binds us. Love of peace binds us. Love of country binds us. Brotherhood and sisterhood binds us. Love of home binds us. Love of church, synagogue, temple, and mosque binds us. Love of work binds us. Love binds us all in a union of hope. And as we revive our oneness as a nation, we proclaim the deeper meaning of our first national motto, E pluribus unum, out of many, we are one. It is then we can truly unite with the rest of the world. For human unity is the ultimate truth. We are interconnected and interdependent with people everywhere. And as nations strive for self-sufficiency, so too they must strive for cooperation. It is human unity which will save our planet from destruction and enable us to achieve a heaven on earth. It is a realization that we are, all of us, created equal and entitled to self-determination and self-fulfillment, individually and collectively. My fellow Americans, this our country, this land we love, to whom Americans pledge allegiance, must in turn pledge its allegiance to we the people, allegiance to truth, to one nation, under God, truly with liberty and justice for all. Let us proceed then by these words from Lincoln's second inaugural, with malice towards none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right. Thank you very much.
Aloha. Aloha. Early one morning on a Saturday, on a beautiful day like today, in January of 2018, over 1 million people all across the state of Hawaii woke to their cell phones buzzing and ringing, radio alerts blaring, with a message that read, ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. I and so many others, I happened to be here that morning. I started calling my friends and calling my family, concerned for them and where they were. But just as you here might imagine, and we all got that alert at this moment, so too did people all across Hawaii start to ask themselves the question, where is their shelter? Where do I go? Where do I take my children to be safe, knowing that there is an inbound missile to Hawaii with a nuclear warhead and we have just minutes to live? We had college students at the University of Hawaii sprinting across campus trying to figure out where they could possibly go to get shelter. A father who lowered his little girl down a manhole, thinking that may be the only place she may be safe and telling her goodbye. I might not see you again.
Yeah, I appreciate what you did.
I heard after from a father who had one kid in town on the island of Oahu and another child on the other side of the island, and himself in the middle trying to decide which of his children he might spend the last of his minutes with. An impossible decision for any parent to make. Countless others shared their stories of their panic, cowering in the bathtub with their kids, trying to understand. They're telling us to seek immediate shelter. Where do we go? And experiencing that harsh reality. That was as true for us there in Hawaii in 2018 as it is for us here today. There is no shelter. Our leaders failed us then, and they continue to fail us now. Those people who work in our nation's capital eagerly continue to escalate tensions, eagerly wage new Cold Wars, understanding that if there's a nuclear attack, yes, they will be okay in their bunkers where they literally have planned to be able to continue to wage wars from their bunkers without any consideration for the rest of us and the destruction and incineration that their wars will cause. This was ultimately the thing that caused me to run for president in 2020 because I saw where our leaders were taking. I saw the dangers of where this new Cold War and nuclear arms race would eventually lead. Whether intentional or accidental, there is only one destination for such wars, and that is a nuclear holocaust. I made it clear then that this is a central issue of our time, the most important issue facing us in the 21st century, that there was a clear choice in that election. We're either going to work towards peace, de-escalate tensions, move away from this new Cold War, or we will continue to race rapidly towards nuclear break. For a new Cold War with Russia, a new Cold War with China, and therefore racing towards nuclear war. Now, for those of you who remember that election, this issue was not important to the media. They refused to talk about it. They refused to raise the question of debate. There was no other candidate willing to talk about this issue. It was not important to them then, and it's not important to them now. And so here we are, 2 short years later. What I warned about then is now our reality. This proxy war that we're fighting against Russia right now could turn at any moment into a direct conflict between the United States, NATO, and Russia, a country that has more nuclear weapons than any other in the world. Now, anyone with a little bit of common sense knows that a Cold War can very quickly turn to a hot war. And then when you're waging a hot war against a nuclear-armed country, it's just a matter of time before it leads to the use of nuclear weapons at any moment. And here's the insanity of it all. We have talking heads on TV, we have politicians, we have very powerful people here in the United States and all around the world speaking with a straight face, well, if we start World War III, or when World War III starts, here's how we're going to fight and win. That if Putin decides to use tactical nuclear weapons, here's what we're going to do, as though such a war could ever be won. It cannot be won. World War III cannot be won. They're living in this archaic mindset of World War I and World War II and not facing the realities that we have today. There is no way to win a nuclear war. There is only one end, and that is a nuclear holocaust. So we're gathered here today because we know that it doesn't have to be this way. We know that there is a better way and that the task before us is urgent and necessary. We have people gathered here from all over the country, people who are gathered here from all ends of the political spectrum. And if we were to have a conversation, my guess is there may be other things we don't agree on. But the truth is that we could disagree about everything else. Everything else. But the one thing that we do agree on that brings us together here today is that we value life. We want to live. We want our loved ones to live and thrive. We want to be able to go out on a day like today and walk in the trees and hear the birds chirping, the sun shining down on our face. We understand that whatever our differences may be, that we must stand together as people who cherish peace, security, and freedom. We must set aside our differences, work together to fire those warmongering politicians from both political parties who serve their masters in the military-industrial complex instead of serving the people. Those warmongers who carelessly and thoughtlessly are sending us hurtling towards a nuclear holocaust that would destroy all life and the world as we know it. The only way we can stop them is when we stand together and lift our voices in unity, telling them no. We will not let you destroy us. We will not let you destroy our loved ones, our communities, our country, here in the United States and around the world. If we stand together on this one issue, we will be able to wrest the power away from those who don't care about us, those who bend the knee to their overlords in the military-industrial complex, take back that power and ensure that we take those trillions of dollars they are feeding into the war machine and instead dedicate those resources towards peace, prosperity, and freedom. We cannot be free and prosperous or safe unless we are at peace. We are the spark that has the power to light that fire to bring about change. So let that spark of love that exists in every single one of our hearts, that aloha, be that inspiration and that fuel that provides us with the courage to fight against these powerful entities, knowing that our cause is just, it is right, and it is necessary. We must work together towards this future in fulfilling and accomplishing this mission of peace. Thank you very much. Aloha.
Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, give it up for the Congresswoman.
All right. Up next, we've got the man, the myth, legend, the hero of the Liberty Movement, former presidential candidate, and former Congressman. Let's give it up for Congressman Dr. Ron Paul.
Tulsi, are you running for president again in 2024?
Are you running in 2024?
No, I was going to say and open up by saying thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation. I like to visit places where I have friends. There are a lot of friends of liberty out here, and a lot of friends of peace. So I get energized when coming here. A lot of people give me some credit for coming and helping them along. The truth is, I get energized. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for inviting me. I was going to say that we've heard a lot of speeches, a lot of opinions. Everybody has joined in. I didn't hear anybody say we need to extend the war. We're not doing well in Ukraine, but we need to take on the Russians. That would go better. Oh no, we need to go to China, and we're still struggling in Syria. No, nobody's for that. At least I haven't heard of it. They didn't get a place. I hope they didn't get a place on the platform for that. But this has been wonderful to come to a place that comes together on this issue. The one thing is that I've emphasized over the years, speaking of a couple of campaigns, is that it's serious. We just heard a very serious dissertation about how serious the problem we deal with. But with that, understanding how serious this is, my admonition is always come together and have fun. And I understand a lot of people have been having fun today, meeting new people, joining. I think that's great. That also came because I've been concerned and really worried about some things. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm not into technology, but I want to know more about this thing called artificial intelligence. What is that all about? Well, I figured it out. I put up with it for 23 years in the Congress, and there was a lot of artificial intelligence over there, let me tell you. A lot of intelligence and I wanted to simplify my speech, and of course it was still my line, but I think that we deal with the war issue very simply. And believe me, and I'll explain it more about And the answer is, and the Fed.
And the Fed! And the Fed! And the Fed!
I knew they were friends here. Thank you. No, there's a reason why ending the Fed. There is a movement towards raising more. How do they finance us? They have to tax the people. Well, they tax them with income taxes, all kinds of taxes, but they never have enough money. They never have enough money, so they have to borrow a lot of money, and then people get tired of borrowing the money and loaning the money to the government. So what do? They have this little gimmick called run up to debt and print the money. And you know, if you're on the side of thinking our government is too big, and as libertarians, we generally think the government is too big all over the place, and we like to cut back. So if you can't print the money and you can't collect the taxes by basing the currency and stealing the wealth of the people, unnerving the middle class and the poor, because that's who really pays for this. You couldn't have a war. You couldn't have runaway spending. You couldn't have debts. And we should have in the Constitution. Jefferson argued for it. He said that you shouldn't even be allowed to have debt. I think that's a pretty good idea. No debt at all. So that is the way they softened up and people go along with it. Figure that yes, we can do it, but they don't understand what's happening. But why do the people go along with it? And we spent a lot of time in the Mideast wars trying to stop that war. I didn't do too well. We still have the war, and it's the one that you keep wondering why do they do it? Why does the government do it? It doesn't make any sense. Why do people go to war? One thing I'd like to suggest is, if we ever got around to thinking that we ought to vote on the force instead of letting an executive order take us to war, we ought to have a vote. If you think we should have a war, have a vote and make sure that the vote is carried out by the people between 18 and 24. That is the and the others were great war, but China people are still out of that. I thought I'd ask this guy that sort of helped destroy Germany, Hermann Göring. You remember him? And he has a famous quote out there. Why do the people do it? And this was after he was convicted at Nuremberg. He had some interview. They said, well, why did the people do it? And he said, you get two things. He says, one, you got to lie to if they're just routine lies, they don't believe it. But if they're so big and so outrageous, they'll say nobody can believe that's true, and they ignore it. You tell big lies and tell them people go along with the war. But still, why do people do it and march out? And a lot of the wars start off in this country, certain of the Eastern wars, people opposed to it, but and this is boring, and paraphrase, of course. He said, scare the daylights out of the people. Tell them they are patriotic and they're armed for peace. And embarrass them. He says it works every time in every system of government in every country. Just scare the living daylights out of people. I think that type of analysis applies to our war, scare the people. Patriotism, and I bet you there's many people in this audience that have to be receiving end of that type of thing. Oh, you're not for the war, so you're not American. And they did that once too. In the campaign, and it turned out that they're accusing me of being unpatriotic. I wouldn't support the war, you wouldn't support the troops. But when somebody came up with a statistic, it showed that Ron Paul had the most donations from the military. And I got to thinking, well, why should I be surprised? This is the military. They sort of decent people, and the draft was on at that time, and they would say, well, why are you doing this? And the draft, of course, has not been used. There's other ways of doing it. The book should be clean. We should, if we're not for the draft, why do we have registration? If not, they know where every one of us is. Not every year where you sign off with taxes. Every minute of the day, they know where every one of us is, and then they still make us go through the ritual of registering in case there's a war going on. It's psychological preparation for people to know that if you want to be a good citizen and you want to be a patriot, you have to go to the war. And people go along with that, and they don't want to become unpatriotic. And I think we all sense and understand and may have some empathy for that. But it's wrong. It's exception. And it's artificial intelligence.
I thought it was like similar to like Rand Paul's.
That's his dad's dad.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's Rand Paul's dad?
Yeah, he was around for like 23 years.
I just ran into it. Awesome. Yeah, I literally just read it. It's a good thing to run into. Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I know it's mostly Gabriel.
Disinformation. You ever notice they might blame their opposition for doing exactly what they're doing, and they reverse it, and so there's a lot of fakery. This gets down to the whole issue of seeking truth. The big picture. We seek truth as events like this, and we come to office, and we might.
Oh yeah, you guys are right. That's pretty cool.
Way of spreading a message. So, yes, that's real good. But what we need, though, is people.
Hey guys, how are communists against war?
You said how?
I said how?
This doesn't benefit us.
The last war China has been was in 1978.
Okay. What
How
about
many wars we've
what
been
about
in?
North Korea? They're constantly
They're not
they've
in a
been
war.
at war. Yeah, they've been at war since the Korean War. It's never ended. They're still a dictatorship.
Whose fault is that?
Theirs.
So it's their fault for trying to unify their people?
They don't try to unify their people.
They did try to unify their people. That's what the Korean War was.
No, the Korean War was a civil war because it split up. It did.
The U.S. split them up.
The U.S. split them up.
Okay. So
Just like Vietnam. They
okay,
tried to do it there.
but
Good thing the Vietnam.
do you
the
support
Vietcong won.
do you support the millions of people in concentration camps in
support
North
the
Korea
millions
and
of
China?
people
Do you support the millions of people in American prisons with the highest incarceration?
No,
rate
I
in the
think we
entire
have a
world?
horrible prison industrial complex.
So
That's
don't
why
we change
that's why
it?
I'm a libertarian.
That's why I'm a communist.
Okay, that's the opposite though.
It's not.
It is. Communism's killed more people in the 20th century than fascism and capitalism combined.
I think more than everybody.
Why do you swallow the globalist mainstream lies?
I don't.
The Soros lies. Yeah, you do. Soros says Xi Jinping is the number one threat to the open society.
Do you,
Why is that?
what
I left my
Square
home
that
country.
up.
My home country was destroyed by capitalism.
was it?
Please.
Well, then why are you here?
Because I'm here
This
to
is a
change it.
capitalist nation.
This isn't capitalism. This is a captured state. This
I
is-
mean, I'll
this
agree.
is,
We have a crony capitalism
Yeah,
government.
this isn't capitalism. Capitalism died in 1929.
This is like red fascism.
This is fascism
Yeah, the way I
under Joe Biden.
Yeah.
This is fascism.
Yeah, he supports the Azov Battalion, not using Ukraine.
I-
That's why we're here.
Do you think
Yeah,
anything
I'm
fundamentally
against the
changed?
Ukraine war.
Joe
I'm
Biden-
also against millions of people being killed in concentration camps.
Globalist lies.
Constantly. No, it's not.
You mean a prison like any other country?
No, I mean concentration camps where Uyghur Muslims are isolated for their religious beliefs.
Propaganda.
That's
US
never-
propaganda. There is no Uyghurs being genocided.
There's
in
none.
China.
No Uyghurs being
Go
genocided.
talk to them.
Huh?
Go talk to them. And
I
ask.
prefer not to go to China.
Okay, so you're not even there. You don't know. You're just believing lies.
No, I'm here, and I
You're
know.
believing lies.
No, I've done research.
Doing the work of the globalists.
You can use Google Maps and see the concentration camps as they've been built over the last 10 years.
Photos can be manipulated in all types of ways.
The other Uyghur genocide, the population has gone up apparently.
It has.
Yeah, there's no Uyghur genocide. It's a crock of shit. I think this guy is right.
I didn't say it was a genocide.
No,
I said they're political prisoners due to their religious
There
beliefs.
is more crime against
My point is that the
Muslims here
story
in
about
this
the Uyghur
country
genocide is a
not.
lie. Anyway, I'm getting out of here.
Israel
No,
and
there's not.
everywhere. And America has murdered anybody more than any country in the world.
And that's why we're here protesting the military-industrial complex.
Look, we're here in solidarity against who's China.
No, you want conformity. There's a difference.
Who's China antagonizing?
Hold
the
on.
U.S. has 800 military bases around China and
Under
Russia.
under your system, am I allowed to be a capitalist?
Yeah. They have capitalists, people who own businesses and making money. Deng Xiaoping,
With contracts
Deng
with the
Xiaoping
government.
said, to be rich is glorious.
Keep the conversation. People can hear Bob. I think it's important, but that's important too.
Not here to debate. We're here in solidarity. That's all that matters.
Excellence and virtue.
This war in Ukraine is ultimately about China. Russia and China are building an alternative to globalism.
Okay.
The Belt and Road
No,
Initiative.
they're
doing win-win
building a
cooperation.
different form of globalism.
No. No. The U.S. keeps these other countries in debt dependence for decades. That's what deindustrialization is all about. And
We
in
have
China, they're industrializing.
China holds
So there's a big difference.
what 70% of our debt. So who's keeping who in debt dependence?
China's not politicizing that debt.
They're not politicizing that debt.
Yeah, because they're under threat by the United States.
Did we not just have 3 years of global lockdown due to either a failed level 4 biolab or an intentional disbursement of a bioweapon?
These are like, this is what Adolf Hitler. You know, this is, you're dealing with
I'm
like
Hitler.
Nazis.
I'm a Nazi.
Doing the work of the globalists.
My father was in Germany.
Okay.
When people like you took over. You know the communists.
like me.
Yes.
People like me.
You know the fucking communists voted lockstep with the Nazis.
Keep your
You know,
distance.
they voted lockstep with the fucking Nazis. The
Do
Nazis.
you think I'm a communist?
He's a libertarian.
I'm arguing with the communists.
Oh, that's the communist.
So maybe
Yes.
you should understand who you're attacking.
Well, I tell you, libertarians, you know what they are? The libertarians are just as crazy as the fucking communists.
We just want freedom.
No, you're not. No, you know what? You know what libertarians are? They're anarchists with a good
I'm
name.
proudly an anarcho-capitalist.
And you know what?
Proudly.
And you know what? The only good anarchist is a fucking dead one because they're worse than the communists.
Why?
You people are the most dangerous fucking people on the face of the earth.
You just switched from totalitarian
You're yelling at
communism
First of all, libertarians are totalitarianism. Anarchy
No,
is
we're
no, it
individualists.
isn't. You
We're
cannot.
individualists.
You are so fucking
I
delusional.
believe in voluntary association, not
No,
government force.
No.
How are you going to tell me no?
You can decide his
Because no
mind?
country, we could
Wow.
not live in a country without any kind of government. To say that we're going to abolish the American, you're going to abolish that man over there and tell him to get the fuck out of here.
That man's the most totalitarian president in American
You see,
history.
there we are. You know, my fucking relatives died at Gettysburg. My relatives died at fucking Gettysburg. This is why you're fucking dangerous. Someone should put a bullet in your fucking head.
Can you please back up?
That's what you're giving my word. My father fought in World War II. What are you going to do? Fight the fucking Hitler?
Why are you yelling at me?
Because you are fucking dangerous. You're a delusional. You're just like that fucking communist. You are the lunatic.
How long have you worked for the FBI?
I'm not an FBI.
You sure?
Okay? No.
Fed?
I am not an FBI.
Fed?
I'm not
Fed?
or FBI
Fed.
anything. I'm rational. I was a communist when I was a kid, and then I read history. No, I admit I made a mistake.
Well, now you're
but I'll tell you
attacking-
one
you're
thing:
attacking somebody
the
who's
fucking
the exact opposite of communism.
people like you, anybody who calls them an anarchist, and you know what's really happening?
What's
this
that?
is what they're done. The fucking criminal capitalists who run that fucking country, run that White House, have
So
you know
you
what they
don't
know?
like communists.
Well, let me say,
you
no,
don't like capitalists.
No. Let me listen. What has happened is the criminal fucking capitalists have come to realize they've allied themselves with the anarchists to destroy our fucking government and leave us wasted. Without government, you have nothing.
Culture.
Without government, the idea is to have effective government, not no government.
What's the leading cause of death in the 20th century?
War.
Government.
Government.
Well, who fights wars?
Communists responsible for 100 million deaths in the 20th century
the
alone.
issue is not no government. The issue is to have effective government. And what has happened is the criminal class have embraced your ideas to eliminate all effective government.
Dude, if the criminal class had embraced my ideas, I'd be at home with my family right now. Because we wouldn't be sending billions of dollars to Ukraine.
What would you do if one day I went to your house and started kicking down your door to steal your possessions?
Shoot you in the face.
Right. But the problem is that without a police force, without an organized government, we don't have law and order. What we have is chaos.
Do you know the average response time of police forces in the country?
Yeah,
we don't have law and order now.
You are a lunatic French. You are a lunatic.
Am I?
You are a fucking lunatic. Okay?
I think one of us looks like a lunatic.
My father was in Germany when Hitler began seizing power. Well, no, but he explained to me what it is like to live in a country with a lunatic French has now seized the government and they can do whatever they want.
Isn't that what we got here?
You are delusional.
What about the side with the Nazis and Mussolini before Pearl Harbor?
Mussolini was a fascist. Mussolini was a socialist. Hitler was a socialist.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
They were against all of them.
They were all socialists.
And I'm against all of them.
But once you get rid of the government, once you have nothing, you have chaos. Just imagine trying to live in a community where there's no police force.
What police forces are now?
When
Black Lives Matter was destroying our country
What about
in
child
2020?
What are you going to do about child molesters? What are you going to do about rapists?
Wood chippers.
You see what I mean? You're a fucking lunatic.
No.
You're a lunacy. Are you going to you're going to do is you're going to declare yourself the police force and go out and
because it's not my job to protect you.
You're contradicting yourself.
No, it's my job to protect me and my family. It's not my job to protect you.
You don't realize.
I'm a
5 guys show up your house. They kick down your doors. They steal you. They kill you. They steal your possessions.
Be a hard go at it.
Living in a fucking delusional. You are living in a delusion, and people like you are very, very dangerous. Just like these people who believe that North Korea is a wonderful place, or fucking Red China is a wonderful place.
Yeah, I'm against those. That's why I came over and started asking them questions.
You're delusional.
One of us is delusional.
Delusional. To have real government, to have effective government. And when you call Abraham Lincoln,
effective government.
Oh yeah, because they're a fascist totalitarian state.
Agreed.
And when you disagree with them, they'll fucking kill you. Why? Because they don't.
What are you guys arguing about?
I don't know.
He
came over and started
changing the subject.
And I'm telling him that anarchy
it just goes
is
from one
lunacy.
thing to another. Okay. My name's
What
makes anarchy lunacy?
It's absolute lunacy.
I'm fine.
When you have, I mean, I understand if you probably agree with it, then you're a lunatic just like him.
I don't know if I agree.
It's like he switches from communism to...
Okay, you know what it is?
Provocateurs are going to provoke.
That handled that well, I have to tell you.
Thank you. Oh, you're good. You're good.
I don't know, man. I know that
All
chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. We didn't plan that part. It was kind of impromptu, so.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Now we march. Get ready to line up over here. It's going to be starting there. It's going to be going on this side of the reflecting pool to 17th Street up to Pennsylvania Avenue. See you guys on the march.
Hey, I'm not my
Are you involved in Sam's?
All right, guys. I'm gonna log out for a second. Got to charge my phone up a little bit. I'll hop back on the stream in just a little bit as the march gets going.
We don't have time. This is as dire a moment as I have ever experienced in my lifetime, and the vast majority of Americans have no clue how close we are to the precipice. They have no clue. And those that do have a clue, oftentimes they have their own angle on this thing that gets derailed. At the end of the day, we have to wake up our fellow man, let them know that there is a different pathway. We do not have to escalate into World War III. We can't avoid this. De-escalation is incredibly possible. In fact, if it weren't for this son of a bitch, we probably would have already done so. To make it extremely explicit, no more war, no more bombers, no more bombs, no more billions, and no more bullets. We're done. Give peace a chance. Thank you.
Hey guys, I am a friend of Clint's and of Eric Jackman's. I'm a libertarian myself. And, you know, I'm not a philosopher, I'm not a politician. I didn't even go to college. I went to high school and started working. I'm a truck driver and an equipment operator from the hills of New Hampshire. So I just read the news and look between the lines and actually know what's going on to some extent. That puts me far ahead of everybody who's running this shit show behind us. You know, I've been a working man for my entire life, and as any working man can tell you, your time is your most valuable thing that you have. And, you know, I've done a lot of grueling work over the years. I've done roofing, I've done power line work, I've done truck driving, all sorts of things, working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And in the year 2019, I worked almost 3,000 hours, and I was doing all sorts of crazy jackhammering, hand-digging holes, just miserable work day in and day out. And then in the following year of 2020, you know, they had taken almost $20,000 out of my taxes for federal income tax in 2019. And then in 2020, what did they do with that money? Well, first of all, they locked me in my house and said that I was non-essential and I couldn't get a job for a few months. And then once I finally got a job and started working through the rest of the year, they signed the 2 largest spending bills in human history. And what did they do with that fucking money? They sent it to foreign countries and special interest projects in this country, and Ukraine too. Israel, Saudi Arabia, you know, administering the genocide of the Palestinians and the Houthis. And then, after they signed these huge spending bills on January 6th in 2021, a ragtag group of Trump supporters had a riot at the Capitol building, and they broke some windows and they stole a podium and they scared some of our elected lawmakers. And to our government, who had been funding the genocide in Yemen all year, that was the worst act of terrorism since September 11th, 2001. You know, how do they define terrorism? Terrorism is the use of violence against innocent people, typically civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. For how many times I have heard January 6th described as terrorism, I have never in my life heard a better definition of the United States Congress. So, all this to say, you know, our government tries to gaslight us into thinking that, you know, the January 6th protesters were the biggest, scariest thing that's ever happened, and they've been escalating us toward World War III. This war didn't start in 2022 with Putin just deciding he wanted to go into Ukraine. This has been provoked for years with coups, with dumping billions of dollars of weapons into Ukraine and surrounding countries, and they finally had enough. So that's all I got to say. Your government sucks. They don't spend your money on protecting you or making your life better. Taxation is theft. Free the January 6th protesters.
Yeah!
So our friend asks, how do we define terrorism? Terrorism is blowing up the pipeline. That's terrorism. U.S. government, this U.S. government are terrorists. They are not. They are not. They are. It's not a legitimate government. It is an illegitimate government that is conducting terrorism. That's all I have to say. They say that lives there, lives right there. Another thing. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go,
They are lying that they're pro-environment. They fill this world with viruses, genetically modified, that's killing us. They killed 6 billion people so far. They say that they are pro-environment. They still fund that research. They are derailing trains. They are trying to get us into a nuclear war. And that they say they are pro-environment. These people are liars. Everything that they say is the opposite. Everything that they claim, the opposite is true. These people are illegitimate and they're liars. They only serve themselves. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for showing up. This is amazing. This is absolutely incredible. Thank you to the organizers for setting this up. One thing we need to do is make the war hawks the minority. As somebody who served for 7.5 years as a logistics officer in the Army, providing frontline support to the 82nd and the 101st Airborne Division, I have seen the harms of war firsthand. It makes an issue that I'm passionate about. In fact, next week I'm going down to Florida for a memorial run for a friend of mine who we lost in Afghanistan in 2013. I'm wearing this black bracelet on my wrist inscribed with the names of my friends who were killed in needless wars. I will say 9/11 turned me into a neocon. I was a Tea Party patriot, conservative,
continue to fund groups directly linked to terrorists. You know, the day of 9/11, 2001, trouble the control
You know, I got a friend in Chicago who's an activist, and he's all consumed by the propaganda. Now he sees Roger Waters talking against him. He's going to see Roger in May. I think I finally win Kevin over.
In many ways, Timber Sycamore was parallel with Operation Cyclone in Afghanistan. Overthrow the government allied with Russia. The CIA and Pentagon funded terrorist groups, which the corporate media praised and called moderate rebels. But there were no moderate rebels. The corporate media also claimed that millions of dollars of military equipment and weapons accidentally fell into the hands of ISIS. How does the most advanced and complex military intelligence systems in the world accidentally harm the enemy? They don't, because it wasn't an accident. Their goal was to weaken and destabilize Syria, and funding terrorism as an excuse for war, a proxy army to fight Russia. Here we are today. There's a pattern that has unfolded. NATO funding Ukrainian military and extremist neo-Nazi groups such as the Azov Battalion as a proxy to fight the Russians. Billions of dollars in
What about this stuff at all? It's all
I got a couple people I want to bring up here. Some members from the People's Party who came from Maine, Buzzy and Grady. I want to let you guys talk.
Hey, thank you. This is my son Grady, and that's why I'm here. We all have children. If you don't have children, you know children. And they're dealing with our children's lives. And that time now is to stop. We need to stop funding war for no reason other than imperial means. We must come together as we the people and find our common wealth and our common ground. And stop this madness. Because our children, it's their blood. It's children in Ukraine, Russia, Yemen, Palestine, everywhere. We must come together and stop it, because here's the power. Let's stop it here. Everybody, peace.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nissan Pitcher, and I'm representing the United People's Assembly, and I'm also here with many different groups to unite the left and to unite all the people, not just on ideology, but on what works. We're using strategies that would actually work to bring us together. That's the goal. They are here to divide us. We must stay strong together. We must go work on what we agree upon, not fight over what's not important. We all have peace. We all have love. That's what is all important. I here, again, want to bring out some of the groups that are now working with. One is the American Union, whose goal is a very great one. And they're designed to take the fact that all our votes are used by swing votes to lock up the Senate. Their idea is to bring together all the swing states and force legislation that we write, the people's legislation, by a people's legislature, by the people, for the people, of the people. I also do local politics. I believe in ground-up policies and ground-up action. The first action I would like to explain is Theotino and Represent Us, taking the fight to the lowest levels of our Congress by going to the communal level.
Source documentation is all from
that way we don't have to trust in the media. Communication is won by the people. I have been a technician for over 20 plus years. I've seen many technologies. These technologies can be used by us because they're being used against us. Blockchain technology, centralized currency, and AI
We're more here for the presence to keep you safe. I'm sorry, buddy.
You're all right.
If there weren't 1,000 people around,
No, that's the answer, but I feel it.
How we doing, everybody? I was a Iraq combat vet. We're allied with Al Qaeda because the government wanted to topple Assad. What is going on with our foreign policy? This is absolutely ridiculous. I continue to live and work inside the beast. I've worked in genetics. I've worked in artificial intelligence. I now work in finance. As of today, probably not anymore. I am telling you that all of our demands, no more money for the Ukraine war, to negotiate peace and call for a ceasefire immediately, that to stop the war inflation, that to disband NATO, to de-escalate the nuclear situation globally, to slash the Pentagon budget, to abolish the Mickey Mouse CIA, to reduce war and empire, to restore our civil liberties, and to free Julian Assange. What we need is a leader. And so today I announce to you my candidacy for POTUS as a leader independent for this group. And I hope to convince you guys, everybody, I want to be the POTUS that Nick believes in. I want to be the POTUS that Matt Blumenthal believes in. I want to be the POTUS that Chris Hedges believes in. And am I perfect? No, I'm just a man. But I'm here today because I believe in this anti-war movement, and I'm proud that everybody else is here. VoteClayton.org, and I'm going to continue this fight. I come from the Southwest. You want to talk about an indigenous people? I grew up right across the mountains from the Apache, the Indies. How many treaties did we break against the Indians?
Well, all right, guys. We've devolved to the fringe independent candidates for president. Speeches seem to be winding down. I guess I'm going to get out of here. I still got a long drive home, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. It was rather uneventful, which is a good thing for a protest. So, a lot different than the last time I was in DC. All right. Everybody have a great day.